Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter, and this is James.
Hello.
And today we're talking about volume 27 of Jujutsu Kaisen. The volume starts with Kashimo rushing in to have his fight with Sukuna. Right after that, Uraume and Kinji also initiate combat with one another. Kashimo is fairly quickly bested by Sukuna. Then the volume shifts focus over to Kenjaku, who is killing a few sorcerers before Fumihiko Takaba enters the stage. Takaba and Kenjaku juke it out physically and comedically. We're given some backstory for Takaba, and then he swears to make Kenjaku laugh. And then, after, I think, safely, the silliest shenanigans ever in this manga, Takaba finally got Kenjaku to crack up. And right then, Yuta snuck up and sliced Kenjaku's head clean off. Focus then shifts back to Sukuna, where Yuji and Higuruma join the action. Higuruma summons the one-hit kill Executioner's sword after having judged Sukuna to be guilty. But as the volume ends, it's looking kind of like Sukuna might be confiscating that deadly weapon.
Yeah, pretty eventful volume, I guess, to say. We had a couple fights
Yeah.
and talking within fights. Honestly, this is one of my favorite volumes, surprisingly. And I could see... I don't know, but I have a bet that when the Kenjaku and Takaba chapters were going on, I'm sure a lot of impatient people were like, what the crap is going on? Get back to the main fight. What is this? But for me personally, I thought it was great. And I thought it was such a clever way of I don't know, ending Kenjaku.
I agree. I'm wholly with you on that. It was a fun side thing. Although it wasn't a side thing, it was very crucial and important to the main plot.
It's very
To be fair,
important. Yes.
but it was definitely some shenanigans. But it was
Yeah.
it was fun, and it was cool.
Yeah, to real quick quote Takaba, the most thrilling thing of all is when comedians who are only there to pad out the cast steal the show. And he really stole the
Yeah.
show.
He absolutely did. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I mean, I was already a fan of this guy, but man, I'm even a bigger fan now.
Yeah.
Uh, well, speaking of Fumihiko Takaba, let's dive into his character in this volume, and talk about him properly.
Okay.
So it's still not confirmed, really, but similarly to kind of how we have been speculating before regarding his powers, is looking a lot like his curse technique is tied to his confidence, and like as long as he believes that something can happen and as long as he finds it amusing, then he can make it happen. Something like that.
Yeah.
And that's obviously why it would be bad if he found out how that gimmick works, assuming that's how it works. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm reading it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting that Angel was about to say what his powers were, but then it never says exactly what it is. I guess we're just supposed to assume what it is without having the actual name for it, I suppose. I don't know. Kenjaku just said something about divine. Did he say divine resonance, or do you remember him
Like
saying that?
soul resonance.
Yeah, was that is that what it was?
I think
And I
that.
wasn't sure if that was just a concept that has been addressed before, which it might have, or if it's what he's calling the technique.
Yeah, it sounded similar, or it sounded familiar to me. The soul resonance
Yeah,
thing. Um,
yeah.
I wondered if it was something that Mahito was doing. Obviously, this is not
Oh
Mahito's power, but
no.
but I wonder if it's utilizing some similar thing, because he's like, what Takaba manages to do to Kenjaku is he is controlling him to an extent,
Mm-hmm.
like manipulating his soul to a degree, I suppose, which is, I guess, what Mahito did. He was shaping the souls of people to morph their bodies, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely he was morphing the soul or the vessels. Well, he was morphing the vessels with the souls inside of them, or was he morphing this?
I
I
think he was
forget.
morphing the souls, and that affected the bodies somehow.
The effect of the bodies. Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly, it's been a long time since Mahito was in the
Yeah.
series.
It has. It has.
But yeah, it's interesting.
I wonder if it'll ever be completely addressed.
Yeah, yeah. I got the vibe that it would get fully addressed. It was just like cut off there, but that maybe
Uh
would get
huh.
back to it in the next volume or something like that, or at some point. Though to be fair, since like it's looking like Takaba's role is kind of served now, like I don't expect him to get much more action in the series beyond this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so so yeah, with that in mind, maybe we won't actually get it spelled out for us.
Who knows? Yeah. Did Takaba die at the end of
No, he
this?
couldn't have, could he? Or no.
I
Like I didn't
I
read it
don't
that
know.
way, though I was a little bit worried, but no, I didn't. Ultimately, I didn't read it that way. I think he's just spent.
Or he's just playing a joke like, "Oh, you got me," and he's dressed up in one of the
Right.
ceremonial robes or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll see later on, but
Yeah.
it's kind of funny to if they did kill him off like this, it would be kind of a funny way to die.
I mean, I don't see what would have killed him here, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It it was like, as you said, soul resonance. So their souls were almost
Hmm.
merging and battling, but also Kenjaku was fighting back in a way. Not so much with punching, but maybe he was just pushing back. I don't know.
It's. I mean, yeah,
But
it's
you're right.
hard.
You're right. There's no exact clue as to how he could have died, really.
Yeah, it's weird, and like, 'cause if it is his death, like it's super unclear. um, like the last panel we see of him, he's lying on his back with his eyes closed, smiling. Sure, that could be a death, but like only like I think the panel before that we see him in, he's like eyes open, like smiling. He looks very much alive on the second to last image that we see of him in this volume.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna say he's certainly alive. I refuse to believe otherwise right now.
You know what? I'm gonna be on the team he died. I think this is
Oh,
a kind of hilarious way for him to go out. He made the one out of 100 person that didn't laugh at him. He made that one person laugh, and that's how he
mm.
went out.
I mean that's kind of beautiful too. I could appreciate it. I just I need clarity on it.
I also don't want him gone.
Yeah, no. No, and it was fun to get all this focus on him and to get the flashbacks, like to get to know him on a deeper level was fun and interesting to me.
Yeah.
Not something I had expected, like to actually get some serious content out of this guy.
Right. Yeah.
It's fun to see that he used to be like a rather uptight, serious dude. uh, and I like how he seems to have experimented around with a lot of hairstyles in his youth.
Just gotta find the perfect comedic one.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you notice the Yu-Gi-Oh reference by chance?
No, I did not.
In one of the beginning of the chapters, or is it the beginning of the chapter? He they have some cards randomly, and then because of his soul resonance, suddenly Kenjaku is wearing this American flag bandana with glasses,
Uh huh.
and that's a callback to one of the characters in the first few arcs of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, I see.
Um,
I see. I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh very
yeah,
well.
so that yeah,
That's
I
funny.
I don't know it a whole lot, but I do remember that from watching it as a kid.
Right, and I did think about like the cards that he's holding when he's saying that, and he says you just activated my trap card.
Yes, yes, yes.
I see. That's funny. Also,
Yeah.
a few pages later in the same chapter, he does the where he says, "Okay, I'll do a simple gag. It's copyright free, so go ahead and use it as your own. Don't marry me. I don't want you as my Wi-Fi." It's like it's terrible, first of all. Um, but it's funny because I can't remember if I told you about this, but in the physical volumes, this exact joke was on one of the in between chapter pages in like one of the earlier volumes.
So I vaguely remembered it, and I was like, why do I remember this joke for some reason? Did he say this earlier in the story? It must be because you pointed it out to me.
I probably that must be it because yeah, I believe it was just on that between chapter page where he did that, and it was even with the whole like copyright thing as well. Like he had the same preface for it and the same joke in it. Like it was the exact same thing.
He was like, "Man,
Um,
this is so good. I got to use it again."
yeah. And somehow it's funnier the second time just because I don't know because he thinks it's so funny, it becomes funny.
Right. Yeah.
uh, I love him. Whew. But anything else on Takaba?
Just one minor thing in one of his jokes. Actually, when he first uh, meets Kenjaku, he says, "I made it to Hakodate."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, you're in Iwate or somewhere I forget, but,
Mm-hmm.
which is separate, complete opposite side of Japan." Um, Hakodate, I used to live there, so it was
Ah,
kind of a fun
nice. That's
reference.
fun.
It's up north in Hokkaido. It's one of the main port towns, historic port towns
Oh,
in South Hokkaido.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on and talk about Kenjaku next. So it's very funny, I think, how before his encounter with Takaba, Kenji was kind of boasting about how he can sense the cursed energy of all the sorcerers in Shinjuku.
Mm-hmm.
At all times, especially Yuta, because he's got like all this cursed energy, and lo and behold, he ended up not noticing Yuta coming at him. Like, couldn't notice him at all. So that was very funny.
It was very well set up, you
Yes.
know. Um,
Uh,
and it wasn't so much that he couldn't; it was more so that he didn't want to. He didn't want to
right.
notice it. He didn't want it to end.
Right. He couldn't interrupt the fun that he was having with Takaba.
Yeah. I I think of all the twists in this story, this is up there as one of the most bizarre. Is that he's this well versed uh, comedy fan.
Yeah.
I don't think I expected it. This
No.
wasn't addressed ever before this point, right?
I mean, he's been a little bit silly sometimes, but like not that much. But like, yeah, no, like I like to this extent, like no, we could not have known.
I mean, this guy is keeping up with modern trends of comedy, or even like within the past 20 or 30 years, he's listing off the like trends and acts and things like that. And it,
Mhm.
it's interesting, and I don't know if it's just all for comedic effect or if actually Kenjaku in his free time was somehow watching all of this.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I mean, look, you gotta have a hobby.
Right. I
Just
mean,
switching bodies. That's not your hobby, okay? You gotta
no,
have a hobby.
that's his job. His hobby is
That's right,
comedy.
right. Clearly
Yeah.
comedy. Or one of his hobbies. Who knows? He might do paintings or something. I don't
Who
know.
knows? I mean, at the very least, it did. I agree. It did deepen his character to an extent.
I guess he did the death child paintings,
Mm.
curse womb
Oh
paintings.
yeah,
Didn't he do
that's true.
that? that was a bad uh, call there. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, you were saying something.
No, at the very least, it did deepen his character to an extent, at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seeing this side of
Because
him.
we're not dealing with Geto anymore. Geto's gone. This is Kenjaku, and to be
Mm-hmm.
fair, if this is the end of Kenjaku, I do think it's a little anticlimactic. It's fun, and I'm totally okay with this how it's gone. However, we don't really know much about who Kenjaku was, and we may never know truly. He may just be this enigma, similar to Sukuna, where Kenjaku's just been around since who knows when he started, just switching bodies
Mm.
and I guess getting pregnant. Um,
Yeah.
it's just those kind of things. Like being Yuji's mother is like,
Yeah.
what? How do we explain this now that he's gone? And maybe there could be something later on, but
Oh yeah.
anyway, just
That's fair.
yeah. To that point, it's a little anticlimactic, and maybe I can see it being unsatisfying, but I do think that this added an extra layer to Kenjaku, and it was a fun way for him to go out, or a really kind of great way for him to go out.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the best endings to a villain. It's pretty fun.
Right. I mean, 'cause it was such an unexpected play by the good guys.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's genius, and it was so much fun to follow along with or to read along with, not knowing obviously what their plan was, and just yeah, being surprised by that was so much fun.
yeah.
And yeah, about it, like his head was still talking even after it was cut from the body. I don't know how
True.
long he can keep that up.
Uh,
I guess we'll have to see. Like, is he fully
yeah.
dead?
I have thoughts.
But yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
can
have
discuss
thoughts.
that probably in predictions. But another
Mhm.
thing that I picked up, I can't remember exactly where it was said now, but Kenjaku did make a comment at some point in this volume about his lifespan being 1,000 years. He
Did he
didn't.
say that?
I specifically thought about it being like he didn't say thousands. He said a
He said
thousand.
1,000. Hmm.
So I
Very
guess that gives
interesting.
us an idea of at least roughly how long he's been around. About 1,000
Yeah.
years.
Do we know when Kenjaku was sealed away? Like, how long ago? Do we know if that's 1,000 years?
You mean Sukuna?
Okay, I said Kenjaku. Excuse me, I meant
Uh,
Sukuna.
all
Yes.
good.
Um, became a curse object with his fingers and things like that.
I
Was
don't
there a time frame
remember.
ever given?
I, not
Um,
that I recall. I know they've sometimes referred to different like eras of Japan's history.
oh yeah.
But I'm not very good at those, so I don't know. I don't really keep up with that.
I assume the Heian period was when Kenjaku and Sukuna were both around, and I am just clarifying when, how many years ago that was. So the end of that was, yeah, about 1,000 years ago.
Oh,
So whether or not Sukuna himself is thousands of years ago, or thousands of years old, it
mm,
makes sense that Kenjaku himself is only about 1,000.
right, right.
Um,
Yeah,
and that's when they either met or colluded or whatever. So
right.
yeah, very interesting.
hmm And well, my last thing on Kenjaku is just a little pat on the back to us, because I believe we were both speculating that Yuta would be the one to kill Kenjaku, and
Yeah,
he may or may not be dead,
I
but
nailed it.
I think we can assume that he is or will be soon.
Well,
Um, and yeah, we got that more or less now.
yeah. I mean, I have a feeling that this is the end of Kenjaku, being a problem. I could be
hmm
wrong,
Right.
but I feel like Utah finished him off. Uh,
Yeah.
whether that what that exactly means, we'll talk about in a sec, or towards the end of the discussion. But yeah, I mean, kudos to us for getting that right. And now, of course, it did not end the way I expected at
No.
all with Takaba.
Yeah.
Um, but as we said, I'm glad Takaba actually had a role to fill,
hmm
and it was key to taking down Kenjaku. And
hmm
Utah was there to make the all important final strike, and there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
one thing he mentions is that my will shall be carried on.
Yeah.
Um, Now I don't know if this is something you want to say for predictions or not, but I was just gonna ask, what did you think he meant by that?
I honestly didn't think too much of it for some reason.
Really? I mean, it felt pretty
I
ominous.
that definitely did, yeah, and it definitely made me feel like whatever his plans are, it's not enough to just kill him, but whoever like, well, because with him I'm a little bit at a loss because I don't feel like he really has any known minions. Like
Not
he
anymore.
used to have like right exactly he used to have a couple, but like right now
Uh-huh.
like the other bad guys are Sukuna and Ume, but they aren't really friends with Kenjaku at the end of it. Like
Yeah,
I feel like
not entirely.
they're kind of not with him fully. So that's why I'm kind of at a loss with him saying that because I don't know who could like shoulder his or like take over his endeavors. I have no idea.
I have two thoughts. One being somehow Yuji plays a factor in this, being the offspring of him.
Mm.
But that one, that's all I have to go off of, right?
Yuji and Choso.
Oh yeah, Choso. Yeah, you're right. They're both siblings of it, so I don't know if somehow he can control them, or I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
That's still a
Control.
good thought though. Hmm.
But my second theory of what this could mean is maybe he's just saying Skuna will eventually carry out my role just by killing everybody. If he kills everybody, then the binding vow is made, is complete, and
Hmm.
all of Japan will uh converge with ten
Tengen.
Tengen. Yes, there you go. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe that's what he could be implying there. That even though he's dead, like there's still a strong possibility that that's going to happen.
True. True. Yeah, it could be that.
Just my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. That's all on Kenjaku?
A couple things.
Hmm?
It feels like while he was going about doing all this, he was trying to explain exactly what he wants, and it's never really truly clarified. Besides, I just want to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what happens. I want to be interested, or I want to be surprised, or I want my theories to be put into to reality, or however he puts it. Basically, he wants to be entertained. And how does he go out? Well, he's entertained
Yeah, yeah.
by comedy and then killed. So I think that was kind of a, a poetic way for him to be defeated.
For sure.
Whether or not that's what he was actually searching for, I mean, that's just how I interpret it. But I think I think that's a solid interpretation, yeah.
Absolutely. I like it.
And then lastly, just a comedy thing when they do the staring contest and he makes the face with his brain.
Yeah.
It's just there's just no seriousness, or it's just
Uh,
just very very much taking the whole mind transfer thing lightly. I mean, it makes sense. Like he's done it for 1,000 years apparently. So
yeah.
to him, it's like taking off a hat.
Yeah. Uh, wow.
That was it for me, by the way.
All right, all right. Then let's talk a bit about Ryomen Sukuna. What do you got?
Yeah. So I guess I'll ask the question that Kashimo asks Skuna. Did he become the strongest, or was he born that way? It
Mm-hmm.
really doesn't matter in the end which way it is, but I am curious what you think it could be.
Well, the impression I got from Sukuna as in through his response was it seemed like well, obviously it doesn't have to be this way, but it seemed like maybe Sukuna might not even remember himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe, like maybe he's either it's because he's so old, like he's so ancient that it's been so long that he can't remember his childhood or his youth, his adolescence, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe just because he, in the instance where maybe he was always super strong, and he, because of always being the strongest, perhaps never got to feel any kind of compassion or those types of feelings. Maybe he always felt like an adult, like because he was always capable, he was always strong, and thus he never
Hmm.
he never really had a childhood. I guess that could also be connected to kind of how the concept of childhood hasn't like historically always been like an established thing. Like way back in the day, children were just smaller adults. So like
Mm.
I don't know. Though maybe that's not really relevant. Well, I guess I guess I have the two ideas though. Like either he genuinely doesn't remember because it was so long ago, or
Hmm.
he actually was born strong, the strongest, and thus because of
Mm.
that he doesn't really have much of a perspective on kind of how he was as a child because he wasn't different then. He wasn't weaker as a child. He was always just crazy strong.
Yeah. So my thought on this is that in terms of why he doesn't remember, real quick, I think he's just so far gone
Hmm,
um, into being a curse that
true.
you know he just doesn't remember, doesn't even can't even uh, physically or mentally bring that up, and so this whole conversation is probably moot. But I think it's interesting to think about. My opinion is that he became the strongest over time,
Mm-hmm.
but I think certainly when he was born, there had to have been potential, like the talent for it. And my reasoning for this is not Kenjo, Gojo. My reasoning for this is Gojo, because Gojo, yes, he was born with all of these incredible skills and techniques, and basically the enlightened one, um, as it was inferred. But he still took time to get to that point, and he still was honing his skills in various ways. Now, how he honed his skills and his leaps in growth overshadowed everyone else's in his time period. And I think the same can be said with Skuna. Because Skuna is so ancient, I'm sure that growth over time just, kept growing and growing and growing until he became the curse. Because I think it's basically established that he became a curse. So
He became a cursed object.
cursed. Okay, fair. So,
But
but
yeah.
but he was human at one point,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So yeah. So to me, I feel like he had to become the strongest. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever get this explained.
I'm of the opinion that no, he's gonna remain kind of the essence of evil.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not really have any sort of sympathetic background per se. Uh, Not to say that he's not gonna be relatable, and I think we even talked about last discussion how this whole love talk has kind of been hinting that there may be some sort of attempt to making him, um, or giving more depth and having him be a little more relatable. So I'm okay with that kind of stuff. But and I wouldn't be upset if we did get backstory, but I just don't think he's going to go there with Skuna.
Yeah, I agree with that. But speaking of the love discussions that they were mostly having before this volume, but it did occur a bit here as well.
Oh yeah,
The or well, more than just a bit, I suppose. But what we
yeah,
got of it in this volume got me thinking that maybe it isn't that deep with Sukuna. Like his understanding of love just isn't. I don't know. There's not much to it. I don't know. I don't know. What did you feel?
yeah. Well, I guess in terms of what we understand right now, he believes love is worthless, even though he understands it.
Yeah. Or
And
he claims to anyway.
yeah, so he claims, and I think that he genuinely believes that.
Hmm.
Um, I don't necessarily think that means all this talk is pointless. I do think Akutami is setting things up uh, for some sort of, you know, final piece to his character. That's my opinion.
I hope so.
And I think it's, yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel that taking all this time to have Gojo and Kashimo talk about this stuff with him, people who supposedly are the closest to relating to him, is, I think, set up for something to occur. That being said, Kenjaku, basically says you guys are weak, or greedy, really is what he says, because you want that kind of thing. You want relation, you want love.
Yeah.
Uh, but in the end, it doesn't matter if, all I want is to satiate my appetite, to kill, to eat, do what I want when I want, and there's no need for understanding. There's no need to have someone love me or things like that. I and maybe it's a bit of denial there potentially, because he's so far gone. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the twist, but I do think he genuinely believes that at the very least.
Love is greed.
Yeah.
It's funny how the different manga that we're covering on the podcast have like all these different interpretations of what love is.
Yeah.
Here we're getting love is greed. In other ones we've gotten love is lies, and then in another one we gotten love is discrimination. It's it's just fun. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
um
It's
uh,
yeah.
hmm. Anyway, what else on Sukuna?
Speaking on to why Sukuna's even here in this time period, like why he wanted to be here. My understanding now, and correct me if I'm wrong or if you already understood this, the
Hmm?
reason why he became these curse items, the fingers and everything like that. Well, okay, let me just talk about what my understanding was at the very beginning of the story is that someone had defeated Sukuna, chopped up his fingers, and somehow thought that would be the way to seal him away and keep evil at bay. But now that we're here, I'm almost wondering if this was somehow Sukuna and Kenjaku's plan. Not so much that they were in cahoots with each other, but they were just using each other. That Sukuna wanted to last as long as he could to get to a certain point where he could fight people that were as strong as he was, and
Ah.
just have fun and enjoy battling people that had trained as long as he is. And Kenjaku made the promise that he would gather sorcerers through time, powerful sorcerers through time, that would seek to fight Sukuna as well. And so that's kind of the idea I currently have as to why he would even uh, want to go through all of this, because I just don't see. I mean, thinking about my first theory, I just don't see anybody being able to somehow stop Sukuna or seal him away at all. It just doesn't make any sense. How could someone have been
Right.
able to do that? Especially in the story when they talk about like the Fujiwara clan, or I think it was the Fujiwara, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
And all the other like, special curse users who were all defeated by Sukuna. How could he have possibly been sealed away
Mhm.
in that case?
For
So
sure.
that's my thinking.
That is fun. Like right now I can't recall what they said at the beginning of the manga about him and about the fingers and how it came
Yeah,
to be with that.
it's been so long.
Let me go get volume 1 out of my bookshelf real quick.
Okay,
I'm curious to
sure.
see what it
Yeah,
says there. Just a moment.
yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll flip there in my app real quick. See if I can find anything.
Like we were given some information, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, yeah. Ryomen Sukuna with 4 arms and 2 faces is a demon of legend. The truth is, he was a human who actually existed, but that was over 1,000 years ago. Oh, so he's not thousands of years ago. He's over 1,000 years. So maybe exact same age as Kenjaku. In the golden age of Jujutsu sorcerers had sharpened their skills against him, but were ultimately defeated. Okay. With the title Ryomen Sukuna, he would traverse the ages after his death as a cursed object. We Jujutsu sorcerers wouldn't even be able to destroy his remains preserved in their own grave wax. Grave wax is a wax-like fatty substance found during
Yeah.
the decomposition of corpses. Without a doubt, he is the king of curses. So yeah, I guess so in truth, after looking back into the very first volume, I just had a misunderstanding of how Sukuna was defeated. He wasn't defeated. He was never defeated.
They didn't say that. Yeah.
They could never actually defeat him. He just traversed through time as cursed objects. And I guess that just never made or clicked in my mind really. But now that we understand Kenjaku and his, and what he was able to do with sources over time, and what Sukuna himself wants, it makes sense. And to be fair, I'm sure people like people even listening are probably like, "Oh yeah, I already knew that," which is fine. I just sometimes, especially when you're reading a story and the volumes are not releasing very quickly, you're not reading the volumes all in one go. You don't remember all the details. But anyway, I think for me, this finally gives me clarity in what Sukuna wanted. And that's just, to keep fighting over ages and have fun and, just enjoy life,
I love how both of these primary villains are so simple-minded in their motives. Like,
you're right.
They just want to have fun. They just want to enjoy themselves.
Yeah. Right.
It's really funny.
If he becomes the ruler of the world, they're like, okay, sure. But it's not as simple, or it is simple. It's as simple as it can get.
It's so simple.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyway, one more thing I have on Sukuna is that he waited to transform into the current form he has now as a way of healing himself later on. Repair his flesh just in case.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember when we were talking about a couple volumes ago why he just stayed as Megumi.
Yeah.
At the time, I thought, oh, is he just using it so people wouldn't punch him or something? Like, what's the whole point?
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's because he basically used it as a last resort. I can heal myself completely if I wait to transform again.
Right. So like the parts of the injured Megumi body, he could just transform those into his own shape.
Yeah.
And thus heal them in the same process. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
now we
did not expect it to be addressed in that way, but it
was nice.
Okay with that.
I'm glad. I'm happy when we can make sense of these types of things, because we can't always make sense of these types of things.
We can't always. Nope.
Yeah.
That's it for me on Sukuna.
All right, then let's talk a little bit about Yuji Itadori. There's just like a little thing that I was just happy. Not only happy to see him, back in action and fighting Sukuna. Oh well, we haven't seen him fighting much so far, but he's there and he's about to probably be fighting with Sukuna. That's super exciting for those two specifically to be facing off, I think, since obviously they were in one and the same body for such a long time, and I think that's just very fun. But also, I was very happy to see that it was Yuji who came up with a plan for how they could pass judgment on Sukuna, how they could get the guilty thing for him. Like, it was Yuji who came up with that. And sure, it may have backfired, but still, it was a good idea. Like, I don't think you can really argue against that.
It was really their best shot at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I mean, as the cliffhanger would imply, it doesn't seem like it's gonna work.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even know where they go from here.
It's gonna get scary.
I especially with Utah not around, it's like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Oh, Maki. Oh, yeah.
Well,
okay.
yeah.
We'll talk about the predictions.
Indeed.
But yeah, good for Yuji.
Yeah.
That was on brand too, because he's willing to put himself on the line.
For sure.
No matter the cost.
Definitely. But yeah, I guess that's all on him.
Yeah.
Then let's talk a little bit about Uraume, I suppose.
Yeah. just a couple of things I want to mention. First off, the Frozen Star. I don't know if that was a name that was given before, but I'm, you know, putting it in the light right now because I think it's an awesome name. It's kind of cool, Frozen Star. It's like,
Yeah,
ooh,
for sure.
that's pretty awesome.
It is.
She mentions fear of alienation is a weakness. Sources today try to keep their humanity.
Right.
I think this kind of deals with what Sukuna was saying to Kashimo uh, about being greedy and things like that. Um, I wonder if this mentality is going to bite them in the butt. I mean, clearly Kenjaku, not Ken, well, yeah, Kenjaku, but Sukuna himself uh, has given up his humanity. That no
Yeah.
question about that. Um, and I guess since Unume is still around, although Sukuna himself didn't seem to have any indication that she would still be around after all these years. Like he was kind of, I guess, surprised to see her again. But regardless, it seems that she also has given up her humanity um, in some sense. Maybe we don't quite understand how.
Yeah, and I mean, according to her, Kinji has also done that.
You're right. I guess so, yeah.
Though I wouldn't say it's super clear.
I think he's more so willing to give up his humanity because he's placing his whole life for the uh, you know, betting in various circumstances and betting that he can heal himself really quick and things like that.
Yeah, right. And he doesn't really care for like appearances and like I think it's also kind of that to a degree. Like he doesn't mind coming
Mm-hmm.
off as, I don't know, brutal while he's fighting or whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I hope we learn more about Uda Ume by
Yeah,
the end.
that would be nice.
Hmm.
A little bit more of Uraume's relationship to Sukuna, perhaps.
Yeah, particularly, yeah. That's it.
For all of the characters,
Yeah, for me.
same here. Then let's hop into predictions without further ado. And while we were mentioning Maki a little bit ago, I think I said this last time, I'm gonna stand by it and just, I guess since a few things happened in this volume, I'm gonna add a little bit to it. But I believe I said last time that I thought Maki would be fighting Uraume, and I think that could still happen. I think
Yes.
she's gonna, fight alongside Kinji, in the next volume. Um,
Oh, okay.
I don't think Kinji's gonna
Hmm.
like be defeated, or at least not. Well, maybe he will eventually, but not
Hmm.
to start off. I think she's gonna fight alongside him for at least a bit. Maybe he'll fall partway through. But yeah, she'll be there, I believe, on the Uraume front.
Well, then I'll stick with my prediction and say Maki will fight Skuna. I think I was
Mm.
saying that it was Maki or someone else I said would be fighting Skuna. I can't remember how I put it, but um, I still think that Maki would be next. Unfortunately, I do think Higuruma dies. You got to have some
Yeah.
sort of repercussions for that. So I think he does die, and I think right after that Maki comes in. Although Chosen is still around as well, so I don't know if he would want to get in on that as well. Maybe he's the one that helps Kinji.
Well, my prediction it was actually going to be that. Well, I agree with you. First of all, I do sadly think that Higuruma will bite the dust here. He's
Mm-hmm.
probably going to get killed with the sword that he summoned. Um,
Oh,
I fear. And I think once that happens, I believe Choso is going to come and back Yuji up against Sukuna as the big brother that he is.
I think I said Chosen. I meant Choso.
Ah,
Excuse me.
ah, yeah, yeah. Um, I just think that makes sense. For the brothers to fight alongside each other.
Actually, you're right. That would be pretty nice if they fight side by side. Yeah,
Mm, mm.
that's a good point. But I do think that Kinji and Urume, like that's basically he's keeping her busy.
True.
Um,
He could.
and I'm sure that if things got dicey with Sukuna, she would try to come over and save him. But I think that he's so formidable uh, against her that though he'll be basically keeping her at bay. I don't know if he's gonna die or not. I don't think he's gonna die next volume if it were to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Kinji was early on in the series was kind of presented as this like one of the strongest Jujutsu Kaisen students around.
Yeah,
Like it was him and
yeah,
Yuta were like the two like legendary students kind of.
right.
I have a hard time seeing him fall
Yeah,
to Uraume. Like sure Uraume is really powerful, but I don't know. Maybe if Sukuna
yeah.
somehow managed to reach him, and he could with that like long ranged slashing move, he could probably like long
Gosh,
range just snipe him.
basically
um,
cutting the dimensions or whatever it is.
yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, no, you have a good point there. So maybe I'll withhold on my Kinji death flag, but I, I I'm still pretty adamant that he's the one that's gonna keep Rume at bay.
That makes sense. And then I guess we could have both Choso and Maki join the fight with Sukuna.
Yeah, and I like your idea of Chozo fighting with Yuji. So maybe Chozo, you know, is with Yuki, and maybe it's all three of them, Maki, Chozo, and Yuji somehow. But I also don't know if Yuji would just be in the way of Maki. Honestly, I'm having a hard time understanding how Yuji can even possibly go hand to hand with Skuna at this point. Like, I don't. To me, he's just been nerfed, right? Has there been any sort of strengthening
I
of
don't
him?
know. Well, so since he lost Sukuna,
Uh huh.
have we seen much of him fight? Have we seen him fight at all since then?
Did he fight against Megumi Skuna a little bit?
Maybe a
No.
little bit. And I guess if he did, and if that didn't go so well, I guess we could blame that on him being like, something just came out of him. He's kind of not top shape right then. But I could also see it like by now, he may be just as strong as he was while he had Sukuna within him.
Mm.
I think he needs to be. Like
Yeah. Well,
otherwise, yeah, he won't stand a chance. He needs to be really strong, and I think he could be.
right. My thing about all this is that I think he needs some sort of Super Saiyan moment where he just gets this incredible power up. Whether it be just from, him screaming really hard, or if, somehow something unlocks within him because of Kenjaku or something. I don't know. But
Mm, mm.
I do feel there needs to be some sort of power level increase.
That's fair.
Um,
That would be nice. That would be
that
fun.
I mean, that being said, it does seem to be a battle of scratches, or I forget what the term is. Basically, you're whittling Skuna down in order to defeat him. you know, put him on an even playing field. But I don't know. It would be a shame if there's no grand boisterous increase to Yuji's power if he's the one to actually kill him. But
Right.
that's just my opinion.
Which I feel like narratively he needs to be the one to kill him.
Yeah,
I don't feel
at
like
this
anyone
point for
other
sure.
than him should.
Which makes me wonder how the battle with Maki will go. Oh
Right.
gosh, I mean,
Right.
he could kill her.
I
I
guess.
don't know. I
I gue-
I don't personally like that.
no, no, me neither.
And so I'm
uh,
not going to predict it either way,
yeah,
but
yeah.
maybe that's me not being fun.
Hmm.
Um okay, so now touching on Kenjaku, and we kind of alluded to some predictions here.
Yes.
I don't think Kenjaku is dead actually. I think that because he's out of his body, the powers, he doesn't have the ability to use curses right now, or at least Geto's technique. And like you said, he was still talking even though his head was cut off. And maybe that's kind of a chicken with his head cut off of a reverse situation. So maybe he's able to give some last words before that. I mean, his final words do seem pretty, final. Like
right.
this is the end.
At the very least, it's implying that he can't do much himself, but there's others that will.
Yeah. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if Yuta brings him back like as a head in a jar, and he's just there, and I guess kind of Gurren Lagann style. I don't know if you've seen all of that show or not.
I did see the anime, yeah.
Yeah, there's a character in there that ends up having his head in a jar and actually kind of helps him out.
I'm also thinking about the clown in One Piece.
Oh, yeah. For viewers or listeners who don't know, Pedro has never actually read or seen One Piece except for the live action. He's seen all of the first season of live action. So he knows about Buggy and he knows about his powers. So anyway, yeah, that's a good comparison. So anyway, I feel like that could possibly be. That being said, I do think Yuta needs to get back to this battle as quickly as possible. And it would be really epic if it's Yuta Yuji against Sukuna in some way. Even having Maki there, I think a 3-on-1, sure, why not? Give him a taste of his own medicine. But I don't know how he gets back. I guess I forget the little sibling's name. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, Ui?
Ui, yeah. I guess he could be the
or Ui
teleport him.
Maybe.
Ui.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
right, precisely. That may come into play.
I think that's all the predictions I have.
Nice. I don't think I have really that much more to add, other than I agree with you that Kenjaku is probably not like fully dead, but he is out of commission, and he may die in the next one fully. But even if he is not dead, he won't pose any more threats, he himself, from now on.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the threat's gone.
Yes. But yeah, just 3 more volumes now.
All right. Here we go.
Here we go indeed.
Actually, before we continue, do we want to mention at all that apparently the series is somehow continuing?
Oh yeah, there was something on that we heard. I don't remember how clear that was. Like, was it gonna be like just like a few chapters or whatever as like an epilogue thing, or is it gonna be a brand new series like Boruto or something? Like I don't know what we can expect from it.
Right. I mean, it's out. It's on the Shonen Jump app.
Oh, they've released actual like a chapter, like the first chapter of it.
A chapter.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it. Let me see. I mean, it doesn't have anything spoilery. Thank goodness. But yeah, like the next chapter is coming out in 4 days, so it seems to be, I don't know if it's a new series. Someone was saying that it was only like 3 volumes or something like that. I don't know. But and some sort of epilogue. But I don't know if we ever want to mention it. I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to cover it as well. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Do we want to even mention it?
I think it's fine to mention it. Just like to acknowledge it. I think definitely. Yeah. No, it's interesting to know that there will be more, at least in some capacity.
I'm very curious to see if this has any implications on the ending, or if this is a totally separate thing that doesn't deal with the antagonists or even protagonists of our story.
Right. Yeah. Guess we won't know until we're done.
I guess that's a Boruto comparison.
Potentially, yeah.
Really. But I don't know. It's out there. Chapters are coming out.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
still on Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yep. We're still in the past or whatever. Well, before we end this episode, I have to ask you, who was the star of this volume to you?
Takaba!
Yay! Fumihiko Takaba.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
Truly.
The comedic
Right?
master.
He was so good. I agree, obviously. Like, this volume definitely helped cement Takaba as one of my favorite characters in this manga. I already loved him before, but now I love him even more.
Yeah.
And he better not be dead.
He's dead, bro. He's dead.
No.
This is his final song, his swan song.
Which, to be fair, would be pretty beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
In its own way.
I agree.
Well, dear listeners, I hope you enjoy this volume as much as we did. Maybe most of you didn't. I know there's a lot of people not loving this part of Jujutsu Kaisen, but hey, I hope that you did enjoy it, because, it's always fun to enjoy things.
Yeah. and real quick, we collectively have not been completely on board with everything that's happening right now in the story, per se. Maybe a little upset that it's so convoluted, but at least for me, this volume was definitely a plus.
I agree.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Glad I read it.
This was precisely. I felt good when I finished this volume. I remember, like, I felt like, that was a solid volume. Like, I hadn't felt that good about a Jujutsu Kaisen volume in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very nice. Then, if you enjoy our podcast, please share it with your friends. You'll find links to our social media in the description, and you can support us by rating our show on the podcast platforms and subscribing to our channel Umami Manga on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about Volume 28. Bye bye!
See you later! See you later! I don't know if that's what he was saying.
That's what Takaba sounds like.
I'm doing jazz hands right now.
Of course. Nice.